Welcome everyone to another one of my videos, and this video is the third take. So because the first take I made a mistake when talking, and I mean a mispronunciation, and the second one is I scrapped that because the voice is too low. Anyways, today we'll be talking about global warming. This slide is made by me, Marcellinus Jonathan Evanda Indarto from Fast Check 2. Firstly, we will discuss about the outlines. We will be discussing about what is global warming, what causes global warming, the impacts of global warming, and lastly, how can we reduce the production of greenhouse gases. Firstly, what is global warming? Global warming is the phenomenon that is known to have been described as the rise of temperature in the Earth's climate. Global warming could have a lot of effects on our planet Earth, stemming from at least one major cause, which is by the increased emissions of greenhouse gases. Global warming may even affect our lives and possibly every living organism on Earth, including but not limited to climate change, rising sea levels, and loss of biodiversity. As you can see in this image, one side looks all destroyed and the other one looks like a paradise. Next, what causes global warming? As said earlier, one major cause of global warming is the increasing amount of greenhouse gases emissions in the Earth's atmosphere. Greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, or CO2, and methane, CH4. Their levels in the atmosphere have been remaining stable for a long time, but human activity increased these levels to the point where they could have potentially dangerous effects. Carbon dioxide is sequestered in plants by photosynthesis and water by dissolving, acting as carbon dioxide sinks, which is also the reason why greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere have been remaining stable for a long time. As the number of plants on the Earth decreases, less carbon dioxide is sequestered, increasing carbon dioxide levels. As you can see here, the natural greenhouse effect is normal and safe, while on the other hand, human enhanced greenhouse effects is not so safe. It's not so safe. Next, what causes global warming? Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere cause an effect known as the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is the effect where greenhouse gases in the atmosphere allow energy from the sun to enter the Earth's atmosphere and allowing much of that energy to be radiated back into the space while absorbing some of it. So the Earth is warmed up, producing ideal conditions for life on Earth. This increase in greenhouse gas emissions causes more and more greenhouse gases to be in the atmosphere, trapping and absorbing more energy from the sun, causing more of the global warming effect. More increases in greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere may heat up the Earth too much, making living conditions not ideal for most living organisms. As you can see in this image, this is the greenhouse effect. You may pause the video, to look at this image. Next, the impacts of global warming. One impact of global warming is climate change. Because of global warming, the Earth's climate change and many science the Earth's climate changes, sorry I forgot to add the S, and many scientists believe that this will cause unpredictable and severe weather. And an example of this is the very high winds and extensive flooding throughout the 21st century all over the world. As you can see here, this is a very large rain. The impacts of global warming. Another impact of global warming is the rising sea levels. As the Earth's surface temperature rises, more and more ice caps and glaciers will melt, resulting in more water, and even rising sea levels. More land, or even whole cities such as Jakarta, will be underwater if the sea levels continue rising. As you can see here, this is a very large flood. The impacts of global warming. There are more impacts of global warming than just two, such as changes in migration patterns of birds, insects, and mammals due to the change in climate temperatures and seasons. As you can see here, these are birds migrating. Changes in distribution, which will cause some animals to extend their range due to the more favorable conditions from climate change, or shrink their range due to climate change resulting in less favorable conditions. Some may even disappear from the area. As you can see here, this image shows some animals' distributions. Climate change may even cause some organisms to be unable to survive and become extinct, reducing the biodiversity of the Earth. An example of this is polar bears that are struggling as ice in the Arctic melts. As you can see here, ice is melting and polar bears will soon struggle to catch food and they might even die. Lastly, how can we reduce the production of greenhouse gases? Although global warming could be potentially hazardous for Earth, there's a way to at least help prevent it. That is by reducing the production of greenhouse gases. Vehicles such as cars and motorcycles produce carbon dioxide, which is one greenhouse gas. One way we could reduce the production of greenhouse gases by reducing the use of vehicles that produce carbon dioxide, so less carbon dioxide will be produced. A way to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, or at least prevent more greenhouse gases to be released to the atmosphere, is by reducing the amount of deforestation and the act of cutting down trees. Carbon dioxide stored in trees will be released when they are cut down. So reducing the act of cutting down trees will lead to less carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere. As you can see here, the cars emit carbon dioxide, and the other image shows the pie chart for global greenhouse gas emissions. As you can see here, you can zoom in, you can see that transport takes up a portion of it. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. My neighbor is hammering the wall or something. How can we reduce the production of greenhouse gases? A lot of people burn their garbage and waste, which produces carbon dioxide. So reducing the frequency of this action may reduce the amount of carbon dioxide produced. Another way humans could reduce the amount of greenhouse gases is by reducing the use of fossil fuels, such as in power plants, and using other energy sources that do not produce any greenhouse gases in the process, such as solar energy sources, such as the sun. This will greatly reduce the amount of greenhouse gases produced. These four methods are just a few methods to reduce the production of greenhouse gases, and there might be a lot more methods. As you can see here, the factories and power plants are producing so much carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Okay, so we have reached the end of the slide. Thank you for listening and I appreciate your time. And please do note that the materials above are taken from the International GCSE Biology book. So we've reached the end of the video. If you like this video, consider subscribing and of course liking the video if you want, and comment down below of what do you think of this video and share this with your friends, of course again if you want. So I will see you in the next video, and sorry for the noise, and have an amazing day.